Anyone else miss One Piece? I mean, last weekend, I didn't even realize that One Piece was going to go on a 1-week hiatus. So, when I waited till Sunday night, I was like waiting late in the night on Saturday to Sunday morning, I was like, where the fuck is my One Piece? I didn't realize it was not going to air until like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh, that's why. So, anyone else missed their One Piece last weekend? Because I know I did, and because of the last episode we saw, even though not much happened, I still love my One Piece, and so I'm glad I get to see it back this weekend, and it was so fucking awesome. Okay, so this episode has interesting, badass things go down in it. For one thing, one of the biggest fucking reveals in this episode is we finally have confirmation of what Doffy's devil fruit power is. He uses strings. Now, this is pretty much obvious he used some form of strings at this time, but when it's finally confirmed what it is, he uses like the string fruit, and he uses clouds to be able to walk in the air. So if you have no cloud coverage, Doffy cannot reach you. And so since Nami has the ability to affect the weather, most likely she can make an entire, area to where clouds are not above them and they can stay safe from Doffy. But there's a big thing against that. If you look in this episode, there was one quick thing I was just like, holy shit. You'll see the entire section when you see Doffy try to use this, like, flame whip. You'll see him, try to purposely miss. He purposely missed and didn't want to hit Caesar. You saw them switch over to Dressrosa, and you saw the whip hit all the way over to the other island and cut the pillar in half. So, that whip has a tremendous fucking range to be able to hit that freaking far, and it's devastating to be even able to cut that building in half, because that was, like, solid stone, solid concrete, whatever it was. Doffy cut that in half that far away with that precision. So, it shows you, even if, let's say, for instance, Nami was to make this little circle with no clouds above them, Doffy most likely could still reach them with his strings. So, we don't really know the range of his strings. We don't know how far his strings really go, but we find out what he has to use to be able to fly in the sky. Now, the episode overall was really fucking badass, and I will have to commend Toei Animation this time. The animation was good. I will say it's a lot better than last week's episode, and the animation overall in this entire episode stayed pretty consistent majority of the time, and so I could say that the animation looked really badass. They definitely had some good scenes in this episode, especially with the animation on Doffy's face, with Fujitora. That Fujitora scene. Whoa. Come on. How fucking epic and hilarious is seeing Fujitora on a floating-ass ship, his battle cruiser, whatever you want to fucking call it. He's sitting there on a freaking ship, he's like, eating fucking ramen, you see these, like, meteors coming down and all that. I'm like, what the fuck? It is just so good getting to see that, because it's just so fucking funny. Because, I mean, you just see this man, this fucking admiral, just eating ramen while he's launching down meteors and attacking with a floating battleship. How messed up is that? I mean, come on. Am I the only one that's laughing at that? Because that's pretty freaking comical. I mean, that was really funny. Now, besides that, we go into the later half of this episode. We get to see a little bit of Rebecca and Cavendish. We get to see what's going on with their situations. And that entire little bit of this episode, honestly, was kind of filler. It really was. There really wasn't nothing important there. It's kind of like a status update, but honestly, if you look at that scene critically, nothing really happened. There was nothing really important to the overall episode. It's pretty much fodder getting the shit kicked out of them by Cavendish and Rebecca. So, that scene kind of was useless, but I understand that One Piece needs to use these scenes to be able to make it where it doesn't catch up with the manga. Now, the ending of this episode is when it gets really interesting. Usually, One Piece episodes get really good right towards the end of the episode, especially with the entire reveal at the end of this. So, supposedly, Law announces at the end of this episode that he was never in alliance with the Straw Hats to begin with. He just wanted to kill Doffy. He wanted to take down the Smile Factory and cause Kaido to kill Doffy. So, you clearly see that Law has some form of agenda towards Doffy in this episode. Like, something happened 13 years ago to Law, and he wants to get revenge against Doffy. So, we don't know exactly what is going on here, but whatever it is, it might be a possible Law flashback. I don't know, but either way, I like the episode the way it ended off because it definitely adds that tension. We're finally getting that backstory on Law, and there's more mystery wrapped around Doffy's character, which really makes his character more complex. Now, the episode is good. I enjoyed it for the most part. There was solid progression, even though if you look at it, it was kind of slow, but it was a good episode. In One Piece episodes, I'd rather have it like this than have it, just completely just dead stop. So I feel like the episode was good. So tell me your thoughts about this week's One Piece episode. Did you miss it last week? Let me know in the comments below. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.